Last time I have mentioned limits of growth. Maybe I mean the effect of growth and environment was already discussed in the previous lecture. As maybe our civilization develops and we got more resources, those limits can be the limits of growth created by environment can be extended. But to what extent that extension is extension might allow uncontrolled growth, which continuously, exists continuously as a part of economy, and is required as to have that economy healthy. Uh, Whether this is possible or not is also a question, and probably, I mean, I personally have doubt on that possibility. And how can the economy react when all of these limits are successively hit? Basically, we might partially living the primarily effects of this limits, but the future developments created by these limits is, of course, something we will see in coming years. So, options for the future. Um, well, breakdown might be one option. The existing economic system might break down. It might not necessarily be a complete breakdown. It could also be a partial breakdown. And the global economy, as we know it, can break into smaller pieces or completely end. Well, the humanity might survive, or civilization might even survive, but as we know it, our economic system and world society, even nations might be broken in that case. Is it impossible? It seems as impossible as it seems. Basically, uh, 2 years before even the changes created by this coronavirus was seen as impossible by many people. Of course, coronavirus is much smaller thing compared with a breakdown, but in the end, we might talk on the possibilities, but nothing is completely impossible. That's certainly something we can say. Um, Somehow, to all of these changes, can may market adapt. That's certainly one possibility, and market may be the main institution or main force that might organize the cooperation uh, and the basic dynamics of the economic system. The role of the other institutions, especially now private institutions, uh, and at global or national level, or even local level, might in time reduce, even if it doesn't completely end. Of course, especially environmental limits of the growth, how those will be dealt with. Neo market system might be a question, but price mechanism. I mean, there the answer might be maybe the price mechanism might be sufficiently strong to solve the problems of the created by the environment, and also maybe the market mechanism can also create mechanisms to solve the problems of excessive inequality. Uh, New Deal is actually making some reforming institutions, reforming regulations, bring some new regulations, and maybe some limited even limited role to the state or um, well, communities, nations, and global, global, let's say, institutions a role in the economic system, production role in the economic system, or a coordination, an increased coordination role in the global system. So the existing system might be there, but it might be supported by these new institutions and new institutions and new regulations, basically, and new reforms. So we might have our market system, but that might exist in a different form maybe even that form might be some hybrid form of between capitalism and socialism. Uh, China is certainly seen as a country today which might lead towards into that kind of a compromise. Although that compromise can be made by different actors, maybe in a much more efficient way. Basically, maybe we will have a new case which might make this compromise even create new understanding of economics. Personally, I think we will have probably a new case in the economics literature. From my perspective, he is the last great economist. Anyone who comes after that is not at the same level. There are some important figures, certainly, for example, Samuelson, for example, is one of them, basically. But not there. No one is, in terms of its effects and in terms of the transformation he created, is at the level of Keynes. So maybe we will have a new Keynes, and I think probably we will have. And global cooperation is another option, which might be actually to some extent be created by the marketism or the New Deal, but it might also be at a greater level. In the world, we can build our economic system, build on them. The global cooperation might be the main element that might create this type of that run this economic system. Basically, market might be still there, but cooperation between the people of the world might be the dominant factor that might be of the new economic system. So possibilities are there. Of course, all of these things are just some predictions. The history and time and future might very much they have potential to surprise us, and that potential surprises are there. As I said, still those predictions and those thoughts, gymnastics, you might say, or sports, are still helpful for us. We might at least think about the possibilities, and we might think of different paths, and even if we meet with something unexpected, at least we might try to it might be easier for us to put that thing to integrate it to the predictions we have made, or even just decide that prediction shows that new event shows that our predictions are not working, they are completely wrong, and just reorganize our predictions and scenarios. So in that sense, I think all these scenarios or all this discussion is a useful discussion. It might also help us to think about, what are our choices? What if we are able to choose of different futures, and if somehow our actions matter, what will be our actions in that case? Where do we want to go as members of this humanity? So I think this is an appropriate point to finish this lecture. As always, I hope all of you will stay